Hi folks, Nick Shaheen here recapping the week ending 6/19. A somewhat violent week. Thank you, rumors and headlines from Greece debt debacle. Regardless, the scoreboard for the week was green, indices pushed, and of note are the small caps, and the small caps were strongest and actually headed into all-time highs. Those are weekly candles. This is the S&P, this is the NASDAQ, the Qs, SPY, Qs, and then the IWM. We had a rising wedge, broke down a little bit, but then we've had several green weeks except for one undecided week. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, let's call it 7 up weeks. This one is indecisive, barely down. That's quite a long run. As a matter of fact, that's the longest run I've seen in a long time. So having said that, we are in all-time highs right here. The broader indices did not fare as well. They did end up green, but they did touch the highs close to, but reverted lower. The Greek debt debacle issue at hand is getting heated, and that means we may finally be closer to a resolution. That's the good thing. The bad thing is it could happen in a good manner or in a terrible manner. So that's why going forward, I raise the flag to be cautious in the short-term trades, especially in credit spreads. So the bulls are not complaining because we keep getting these run-ups, baseless run-ups on just rumors, and it's the same rumor. We got a great, deal. We got a deal. We got a deal. And that's what happened last time, and we went to from one high to another, and that was in February of this year. And I'm trying to find it on, so these run-ups were on Greek rumors, if I'm not mistaken. So the fact that the bulls are not complaining, that doesn't mean they're not in danger. Okay, Friday, ECB folded. Here's my take on Greece. Let's discuss Greece a little bit. The debtors, the creditors, are going to need to take a haircut. The ECB will do all it can in order to get its money back, and which means that the rest of the creditors are going to get pennies on the dollar. They're going to get a haircut. Greece is not going to fold. It hold all the aces. If you owe the bank a lot of money, the bank is at your mercy. All right. So my prediction is that Merkel, who represents the Eurozone at this point, will have to agree to whatever Greece needs to do in order to save face with its own constituencies, and either extend it or give them enough room in order for them to deliver something acceptable so everybody can save face. That's what's going to happen in Greece. Now we have liquidity issue, which is going to come to boil on Monday with regards to, they extended, I think the ELA is called, the acronym, which is basically supporting the banks if they have a run on banks in order to float cash. So that they've extended it, but unfortunately we had withdrawals in Greek banks from the deposits that equal almost the entire increase in the limit. So this is going to only last for a couple of days. So Monday we have another issue, and they're meeting, and they know they have an issue, so they have a special meeting. So two things can happen: whoosh down on a, oh my gosh, Grexit, or falling apart, or run on bank and default and whatever, or kick the can, we run again. But that will be a relief pop. I'll give it some room before I short it. It is shortable. All right, so this is my opinion on Greece. I know it's a little controversial, but this is my opinion on Greece. What other than that? Next week, rumors aside, we do have fundamentals. I want to look at real estate. Basically, we have reports, economic reports, but most notably, I think, are real estate related. We also have the issue of China down 6% in one day, 10% in 1 week. Oh my gosh, correction territory, but they're up 40%. So down 10% is not going to matter much, really. So it's not a big a deal, and it's not a typical correction when you've been up 40% in just a short period of time. This is the FXI. It doesn't really represent it. Oops, right. I was like, that doesn't look like the FXI. There we go. See this rise? This is somewhat China, not quite, but in free fall now. So we'll see what happens on Monday. So they have, I think, inflation numbers to come out next week. If the inflation numbers are hot, they can't say we're going to do more QE. If they're cold, So they're going to sell. If they're cold, then they'll say they can talk bullish, dovish, and say, oh, we're going to do more, we're going to do more, cut rate, add liquidity somehow. So that could be bullish the Chinese markets. So that's fundamentally next week. So how do I trade it? I continue to get ranges. Our ranges are spot on so far, spot on. We're in the middle of the range. We have resistance above, we have support below. Rinse and repeat. How do I trade it? Very carefully. There's no reason. Most traders should sit out Monday, sit out next week if we don't get a resolution on Monday. Basically, sit out until the headline risk goes away. Or if I want to trade, I trade outside and away from current, I'm talking credit spreads from current prices. This gives me room to breathe, a room for error, an escape hatch, whatever you want to call it. All right, so what am I looking at for next week? Same things, important, hot plates, buzzwords, whatever you want to call them. Small caps, sorry, small caps. Okay, they hit my target that I drew a while back, and now what? They're in charge. They want to break out. The broader indices better join the party or the small caps will quit. It's choppy, chop, 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 chop. However, if I extend it to 1 year, I don't know, they rest and they break out, they rest. Are they going to break out? We'll see. All right, that's one thing. Apple, another leader, heavyweight. Last couple of days, it dragged based on its resistance. It did not overcome its resistance. But now, if it loses 125.70-ish, it can lose $2, $3, $4 more to about this area. But it's not fundamentally driven, meaning there are no issues that are Apple-centric. It's just malaise, resistance, whatever you want to call it. If it falls and markets don't, it will find buyers eventually. I'm not too worried about Apple. Then we have currencies. Then we have oil. Oil was down today, but over the week it's somewhat flat. But if it spikes, that's bad for the economy. But not so hot. But I still look at. Most notably is the lack of conviction. Nobody has conviction in either direction. The bulls can't run and maintain, follow through like the run on Thursday last week. Is not representative of a fundamentally driven run with conviction. It's based on a rumor. It's a relief. Whew, something bad did not happen. Let's buy what we sold for the last 2-3 days. So that's not conviction. Show me follow through without a headline on conviction. Okay? I need to see it. All right. And the facts did not change. We knew Greece was bad for years. We knew this. We knew that. Everything has been known. We knew they're raising rates. We knew they're no longer QE. The balance sheet is shrinking. EQE is in effect. China QE is in effect. Japan QE. All of this is known. There are no surprises. Nothing new. Absolutely nothing new. And here we are. So show me conviction. All right. Ranges are, here's what the SPY look like. And if you want to see on the daily, we're still stuck. That's the one note that I don't like about the market. This green line, the dashed green line on the bottom, is a long-standing line, this one. And we are below it. We are on at least, let's say on it if you want to zoom out from the moon, but we're on the low end of it, whereas on the small caps, we're like up here. On the Qs, we're also towards the higher end, threatening a breakout rather than a breakdown, or closer to the upper end than the lower end. So here's the lower end longer standing. So why are the SPY, why is the S&P dragging? So will the others follow suit? Who's right? The S&P or the small caps, basically, is what I'm asking. Things on the hot plate. All right, so what about rates? And rates acted weird this week. This is the 10-year, fell apart this week. It showed a breakout. It hit my target, and I thought this second target was going to get followed, but nope, broke down. We'll see what happens. As far as the other thing we usually look at, oops, sorry about that, typed it in the wrong box. Transports, everybody talks about them. They need to break this lower high descending trend. Look, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. And now they're stagnant a little bit, but they're hitting against it. They need to break it so they can get to here. They hit my lower target. I didn't know which target they were chasing. They chased the lower one. And now they're coming back up to the orange one. They need to break it back up. I don't think markets can rally. They're not saying that the markets are going to fall apart, but they're saying, hey, markets, don't be running without me. All right, this is my thoughts. Nick, signing out. If you have any questions, let me know.